it's me, Denise, with Lotus Eyes Photography and Denise Johnson Photography. I know it's been a minute and I missed you guys so much, but here I am, I'm back. I've just been really busy traveling. I have 2 days off before I hit the road again, and I thought of you guys and wanted to do a tutorial video on how to photograph conferences. So here are my top tips on photographing a keynote session. Keynotes are really important because clients tend to pay a lot of money to fly in those special speakers for their conferences. So photographing the keynote session in a really good way is super important. So here are my top tips on how to do that. So my number one tip is to always photograph with 2 cameras if possible. Get that backup camera and start using that and get a good double strap. You can get one, Rapid has a really good double strap. And the reason I always shoot with 2 cameras, and all of my photographers shoot with 2 cameras, is because it prevents delays in changing your lenses. And when you're in a rush and things are going so quickly, you want to make sure you get those wide angle shots and those close-up shots in a short amount of time. There's a lot of things you need to photograph during the keynote session. I like to have one really zoomed in lens like a 70-200 and a wide angle lens such as a 24-7 or sometimes a 16mm. I always have pretty much a streamline of the photos I need for each keynote, and that is 5 really good close-up shots with that 24-70. You want about 5 mid-bodies, so torso and up. Then you want 5 full bodies, so showing the feet all the way up to the head. And then you also want to step to the side and get a side view of the speaker showing the size of the audience. And then you want to head all the way to the back of the room and get a really good wide angle shot of the speaker showing the size of the room. Now I know that's a lot of working, but guys, put on your Apple Watch and count those steps because it's a good exercise, that's for sure. So that's what I do for each speaker. So again, 5 close-ups, 5 midpoints, 5 full body, 5 from the side of showing the stage and the audience, and 5 all the way from the back. Talking about 5 good culled images. So I take a lot more than that to make sure that I have those 5 deliverables. And for the close-ups, take more if you can. I always say it's better to have more than less. If you have a good culling program like Photo Mechanics, culling is so easy. Don't cull your images in Lightroom. That stuff takes too long. You want to get a good program for culling, and then you can take more pictures. Another tip that I have is that I always wear a fanny pack or a long jacket with pockets. You want to make sure you have lots of memory cards on you, and you also have battery packs on you. I used to have just a book bag that I always carry around, but when you photograph every single day, your back is going to kill you. So I always put my book bag down, generally where the teleprompters are or close to the stage. I have access to other lenses, and then I have a fanny pack where I keep all of my memory cards and some batteries and things like that, so that in case I need it right then and there, I don't have to walk back to my camera bag. Another really important tip is to get good shots of the audience. Clients love images where they look engaged, attentive listeners. Smiling faces are always the #1 hit, and also networking shots. Now, what I do is I generally just wait around to see if I can find those moments. I don't just shoot everything that's going on. I wait for those specific moments because honestly, those are the pictures that the client are going to use. You want to avoid faces that are bored, tired, on their phone, not paying attention. And what you do want to capture are people taking pictures of the slides, people talking to each other, people laughing and clapping. So make sure you stick around at the end of the keynote so that you can capture the audience clapping for the speaker. You also want to make sure that you stick around for the Q&A if there is one. The audience being on the microphone and speaking to the keynote or asking questions is a really great shot to have. Now, one tricky thing is that the audience tend to be really in a bad lighting where the speaker is kind of, often lit up quite well. I have a go-to setting for that in case the room is really low. Now you have to have a really steady hand, but because I usually shoot a 60th of a second, 2.0 or 2.8, and ISO 1600 to 2000 depending on how dark it is. Now if you need a little bit of flash, pop that in on manual mode, point it towards backwards, ceilings if possible, or to the closest wall. I feel like a flight attendant. To the closest wall, here's the exit. Never use the flash directly on the audience. It does not look professional, it does not look cool. Learn to have a steady hand. Make sure you look at the pictures after to make sure you capture good photos. It is easy to get blurry photos when you're shooting at 40th of a second or even 60th of a second. Another tip is, if possible, get a good headshot of the keynote afterwards. I always stick around until the keynotes get off the stage and I ask them, hey, can I get a quick picture of you? And they never say no, because obviously they're going to get those pictures as well. Now here are some things to avoid. Weird faces of the keynote. I see these too often. I mean, they're talking, so you want to avoid that as much as possible. What you want is this. So you wait until they finish speaking. So at this conference, click. I welcome you all. Click. Okay, so you want it in between the words or during consonant. That's much better than o. Okay. Another thing to avoid is bored faces. This, people on their phone, people like this, people crouching down. They're not going to use those for anything, guys. You want this. You want this. Clapping. You want people very attentively listening, talking to each other, and looking happy. So make sure you get lots of smiley faces. Honestly, I just wait around and I just look at people. I'm like a panther. I just watch for them smiling. Are they gonna smile? Is something cool gonna happen? At the end of the keynote, make sure you're at the front because now they're probably gonna clap, and those are some great pictures and they love those. Another thing that clients love is if you can get the speaker with the logo of the conference in the back. I always get a few of those because if they paid that speaker to be at their keynote, at their conference, make sure you get the name of the conference or the company. They'll love that. Another thing that they love to see is wide angle of the audience. So here are my go-to lenses for keynote session. 70 to 200, 24 to 70, 16 millimeter, and my 35 millimeter. I hope that was some useful tips, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Ask any questions below. If I missed something, I'm heading out to a massage.